My name's Lee, and today I'm going to show you how to do a headstand. The variation that we're going to look at is called the tripod. So we're going to be using our hands and our head to make a nice triangular shape on the mat. There's another variation where we can clasp our fingers around the back of our head and use our elbows to make that triangular shape. In this case, we're going to be bringing our hands back a little bit. Before we do any kind of inversion, we want to make sure that we're nice and warm. So you want to have done 10 to 15 minutes of warm up before attempting anything like this. We're going to be using our core, we're going to be using our shoulders, our neck, our wrists are going to take a little bit of pressure. So we want to make sure that's all warmed up, our hamstrings are stretched out. So whatever you normally do for a nice balanced warm up routine, some sun salutations, a few chaturangas, anything that's going to get you in a position where your body's prepared for this would be recommended. So let's get straight into the inversion. We're going to start on all fours. We want our hands grounded underneath our shoulders. Then we want to bend our arms, bring our head to the ground and try and get a nice right angle here if we can. And roll on to the top of our heads, so we're not on our nose, we're not rolling over and opening up too much that we're going to weaken our neck. Keep those hands nice and grounded. And then come up onto your toes. This is where stretching your hamstrings first is going to have helped. We're just going to walk in as far as we can. You can bend the knees if need be. But if we can keep our legs straight, that's going to be nice. From this point here, we can bend one leg, try and get our hips over our shoulders. Bend the other leg and push up into the headstand. We can point our toes, try and tuck our tailbone, hug the ribs in, keep nice and straight with the weight balanced between the hands and the head. And then come down nice and gently. Now if that seemed really easy for you, there's a variation where we can try and press up into that. So again, the hands are going to start in the same position, underneath the shoulders, nice and grounded, hugging in towards each other, fingers forward. We're going to bring our head to the ground again. Roll up onto the top of our head, push up onto our toes and walk in. And at this point we might want to try and get the hips a little bit further over the shoulder until our toes feel really light. So there's not a lot of weight there. And then we're going to engage our core and just lift our feet, our legs up nice and straight, balancing that weight between the hands and the head again. Get that weight nice and balanced, press up. Keeping that weight balanced, you can shift your hips back more over your shoulders to get the weight balanced between the hands and the head again. With the toes, tuck the tailbone, and try and come back down the same way, nice and gently. It's always nice to finish with a child's pose. My knee won't let me get all the way down. So I'm going to go for the wide leg variation with your big toes touching your knees max width apart. Just have a nice stretch and a rest and take a few breaths here. You might also feel it in your wrists. If that's the case, we can flip the wrists and just put the back of the hand on the mat just to reverse what we've been doing, having them bent this way. It all helps. Another one I quite like to do is to bring my palms together and interlace the fingers. Keep the forearms together and the heels of the hands together and just rotate the wrists through a full range of motion. Whatever that is for you, you might hear a few clicks, but hopefully that feels like we're getting some good movement there. And then if we stop that, just to make sure we're covered all the bases, undo the fingers, flip them so that the opposite index fingers stack on top. Bring the palms together again and try and rotate the opposite way. It's probably going to feel quite strange. certainly feels different for me. So it's always worth doing everything like we do everything on both sides. If we can do things with these rotations in both directions as well, I think that's all going to help just to get the maximum mobility and strength into those joints. Hopefully you've enjoyed that little challenge. So thanks for joining me, and I shall see you again soon.